There is a darkness that lives in the heart of human curiosity. It is the shadow cast by our brightest light. We have always pushed forward. We have always wanted to know more. We look up at the stars and ask what they are. We dig into the earth and ask how it was made. This drive is what makes us human. It has given us fire. It has given us medicine. It has given us the ability to walk on another world. But what if this drive leads us to a door we should not open? What if there is one final truth? A single piece of knowledge so fundamental that learning it could unravel the very fabric of existence. This is the story of the forbidden equation and the last question humanity might ever have to answer. Imagine a secret hidden in the math of the cosmos, a secret that the universe itself keeps locked away. We are building bigger tools. We are creating smarter machines. We are getting closer to understanding the deepest rules of reality. Every new discovery is a step toward this final piece of the puzzle. We celebrate these steps. We give awards for them. But we rarely stop to ask if the puzzle itself is a trap. The pursuit of knowledge feels noble. It feels right. But what if the ultimate prize for winning the game is the end of the game itself? This is not a question for some distant future. It is a question for today, for 2025-10-22. Our technology is accelerating. Our ability to probe the nature of space and time grows with each passing year. The Large Hadron Collider smashes particles together to glimpse the moments after the Big Bang. Our telescopes peer back to the dawn of time. We are hunting for a theory of everything, a single framework that unites all the forces of nature. The forbidden equation is the next logical, terrifying step beyond that. It is the source code, and we are getting closer to finding it, whether we are ready for it or not. The weight of this idea is immense. It forces us to confront the nature of our own ambition. Is all knowledge good? Is there a point where we should choose to stop? To deliberately remain in ignorance for the sake of survival? This goes against every instinct we have as a species. We are explorers. We are problem solvers. When we talk about this equation, we are not talking about a simple physics formula. This is not E equals mc squared. This is not the law of gravity. Those are just single rules in a much larger rulebook. The forbidden equation is the rulebook itself. It is the master code that dictates why reality exists at all. It would explain how the universe works and why there is a universe in the first place. It is the logical foundation upon which space-time, matter, energy, consciousness. It is the ultimate why behind every how. It is the operating system of existence. Imagine the universe as a vast, complex computer simulation. They figure out how the graphics are rendered, how the characters interact, what laws the digital world follows. But the forbidden equation is something deeper. It is the source code that runs the entire simulation. To solve it would be like a character in a video game suddenly gaining access to the programmer's command line. The character would not just understand the game's rules, they would have the ability to see the code that creates the rules, and perhaps the ability to rewrite them. The scope of such an equation would be total. It would contain the blueprint for a proton, the life cycle of a star. It would explain the strange dance of quantum particles, the unwavering arrow of time. It would reveal the nature of consciousness, explaining how a collection of atoms in a human brain can ponder its own existence. This is why some call it a theory of everything, but that name is too small. A theory of everything unites the forces we know. This equation would explain why those forces exist at all, and why they have the specific values they do. It would be the final, irreducible truth. This is the power we are talking about. It is not just knowledge, it is a key that could unlock the fundamental logic of the cosmos. With it, we could potentially understand concepts that are currently beyond our imagination. The first and most immediate danger is not to the universe, but to us. It is the risk of cognitive collapse. Our minds are a product of evolution. They are designed to navigate a world of trees, rocks, predators, social groups. We build stories to make sense of things. We rely on a simple, intuitive understanding of cause and effect. Our brains are not built to comprehend the absolute, unfiltered truth of reality. What if that truth is a paradox? What if it reveals that our perception of time, free will, our own individuality is a complete illusion, a convenient fiction our brains tell us to survive? Imagine, seeing the source code of your own thoughts. Imagine understanding, with mathematical certainty, that every choice you ever made was predetermined. Or imagine learning that the solid world around you is just a projection from a deeper, more complex reality that your mind cannot process. This kind of knowledge could shatter the foundations of human sanity. It would be like staring into an abyss so profound that the mind simply breaks. The stories we tell ourselves about purpose, love, meaning could evaporate in the face of a cold, stark, and alien truth. Widespread madness is not a fictional trope. It is a genuine psychological risk. This is not just a problem for one person. It is a problem for civilization. Our societies are built on shared assumptions and beliefs. Laws, ethics, relationships are all based on the idea that we are individuals with agency. If a truth emerged that dissolved these concepts, the social contract could fall apart. How do you run a justice system if free will is proven to be an illusion? How do you maintain social cohesion if the very idea of a separate self is shown to be a neurological trick? The result could be a global psychological plague, a wave of existential despair that leads to chaos and the breakdown of society itself. The writer H.P. Lovecraft explored this idea in his fiction. His characters went mad, not from seeing monsters, but from glimpsing truths that the human mind was not meant to contain. This is the danger of the forbidden equation. It is not a monster with tentacles. It is an idea, a piece of information so potent that it acts like a virus for the mind. Once you know it, you cannot unknow it. The damage would be done. The second danger is even more profound. What if reality itself is fragile? Think of the universe as a delicate, self-sustaining system. It operates according to a set of very precise rules, the physical constants that govern everything, the strength of gravity, the speed of light. These values are exquisitely fine-tuned. If they were even slightly different, life, stars, galaxies, what if the act of observing the fundamental code of this system could cause it to change? What if reality has a built-in defense mechanism against being fully understood? This is the concept of reality self-correction. Imagine, you are trying to read the code of a computer program while it is running. Your act of reading it might introduce a tiny error, a glitch that causes the program to behave unpredictably or even crash. Now apply that to the universe. The act of solving the forbidden equation could be like poking the operating system of the cosmos with a sharp stick. The system might react. It could patch itself, changing the laws of physics in an instant. The constants of nature could shift. The very structure of space and time could fluctuate. The consequences would be catastrophic. If the strength of the electromagnetic force changed by a tiny fraction, atoms could fly apart. If gravity became slightly stronger, stars could collapse into black holes. We live in a bubble of cosmic stability. We take for granted that the laws of nature are constant and reliable. But what if they are not? What if they are contingent on our ignorance? The universe might not be a static stage for our existence, but a dynamic system that actively resists being reverse-engineered. Our greatest intellectual achievement could trigger the end of the stable world we depend on. This is not magic. It is a logical extension of ideas in quantum physics. We already know that at the smallest scales, the act of observation changes the system being observed. A particle does not have a definite position until we measure it. What if this principle applies to reality as a whole? What if our full comprehension would cause the entire wave function to collapse into a new, unknown, and potentially uninhabitable state? The third danger is perhaps the most terrifying. Knowledge is power. Ultimate knowledge is ultimate power. Solving the forbidden equation would not just be an academic victory. It would be the discovery of the universe's control panel. It would grant the ability to manipulate the fundamental rules of existence. This is a power far beyond nuclear weapons or genetic engineering. It is the power to edit reality itself. In the hands of a human being or a human government, such power would be an existential threat of unimaginable proportions. The potential for misuse is absolute. You could create a small bubble of space where the laws of physics are different. You could try to create a new, stable form of matter. You could attempt to manipulate the flow of time. Even a small, well-intentioned experiment could have disastrous consequences. A tiny, localized change to a fundamental constant could create a chain reaction. It could trigger what physicists call a vacuum decay event, a bubble of a new, more stable vacuum that expands at the speed of light, destroying everything it touches. The universe would be rewritten into a new state where our form of existence is impossible, and that is assuming good intentions. What if this knowledge fell into the wrong hands? A nation, a corporation, a terrorist group could wield it as the ultimate weapon. They could threaten to alter the constant that governs nuclear fusion, holding the sun itself hostage. They could attempt to erase their enemies from existence by editing the past. The history of humanity has shown us one thing with chilling clarity. We have never created a weapon that we have not used. The power to rewrite reality would be the final, ultimate weapon. The temptation to use it for defense or for conquest would be irresistible. This creates a paradox. The only way to be safe from others who might discover this power is to discover it first. This could trigger a new kind of arms race. A silent, secret race to solve the ultimate equation. This fear of forbidden knowledge is not new, you know. It is an ancient anxiety that echoes through our oldest myths and stories. These tales are not just entertainment. They are warnings passed down through generations. They are cultural memories of the dangers of hubris and unchecked ambition. Think of Icarus, who fashioned wings to escape his prison. His goal was freedom, but pride carried him too close to the sun. The heat melted his wings and he fell from the sky. A simple, powerful metaphor. Reaching too high can lead to a great fall. The forbidden equation is our modern sun. Consider Pandora, given a box by the gods, told never to open it. Her curiosity was too strong. She lifted the lid. Out flew all the evils of the world. Sickness, sorrow, death. Only hope remained inside. This story speaks to our dilemma. The equation is our box. It promises knowledge and wonders, but it may contain horrors we're not prepared to face. Can we simply choose to stop? Can we, as a species, decide to leave the forbidden equation unsolved? History suggests that this is unlikely. The drive to know is one of the most powerful forces in human nature. It is woven into our DNA. From the first hominid who chipped a stone to create a tool to the scientists programming quantum computers, we have always been driven to understand and manipulate our world. This curiosity is not a choice. It is an instinct. It is as fundamental as our need for food or our desire for connection. To ask humanity to stop seeking knowledge is like asking a river to stop flowing to the sea. Even if we could agree to a global moratorium on this kind of research, it would be nearly impossible to enforce. The tools required for theoretical physics are, in many cases, just to mind a pencil, paper, or a computer, which is now ubiquitous. A brilliant individual working in isolation could make a breakthrough. A secretive government agency, believing the knowledge is essential for national security, could pursue it in the shadows. Once an idea exists, it is very difficult to contain. The genie of knowledge, once conceived, is already halfway out of the bottle. If we do find it, what then? The moment of discovery would be the start of a new and terrifying chapter for humanity. The first challenge would be one of secrecy and control. Who gets to know? Who holds the key? Should this knowledge be entrusted to a small group of scientists? A council of world leaders? Or should it be shared with everyone? Each option is fraught with peril. A secret held by a few creates an elite with godlike power. They could become benevolent dictators or tyrants, and we would have no choice but to obey. But the alternative, open access, is equally frightening. If the equation were published on the internet for anyone to see, it would only be a matter of time before someone, somewhere, figured out how to misuse it. Technology always democratizes. What starts in a sophisticated lab eventually ends up in a garage. Secrecy creates a power imbalance. Openness creates universal risk. There is no easy path. If you, personally, were given the key, the single equation that explains everything and could change anything, what would you do? Would you turn the key and open the door, embracing whatever truth or destruction lies on the other side? Or would you throw the key away, choosing the safety of the world you know over the terrifying promise of the world that could be? Think carefully, because someday your answer might matter.